Channel 3 is your back-to-school authority. The start of a new school year can certainly be stressful for any student, but this pandemic is only adding another layer of uncertainty and anxiety. So joining us with more about that is Dr. Laura Saunders, a psychologist from the Institute of Living. Nice to see you again. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Caitlin.
So tell us, you're an expert on all this, and I know we've talked to you a little bit about it before. If your children are nervous about heading back to school, how can you reassure them?
Well, I like to start with validation, right? There's anxiety in the air, right? Besides COVID and now we have this hurricane tropical storm come through, there's a lot of anxiety in the air. We're heading back to school. It's important to start with validation because guess what? Those stories of how much harder we had it as kids going to school don't hold any weight anymore because none of us had to go to school during a global pandemic. So I think really emphasizing that this is about adjustment. Yes, it's okay to be anxious. We're going to have a plan. We're going to practice things. So validating is the start, and then moving into action, planning something, practicing the morning routine, driving the bus route, going to the bus stop, doing the things that you need to do to lessen anxiety are going to be very helpful.
All right, lots and lots of prep before that first day. So what warning signs do parents have to look out for that their children are having a difficult time?
Parents, you know your children. You know how they typically respond to things. You know how they typically act. When you see them acting or behaving well outside of what is typical for them, that's when you become concerned. Having some anxiety, having some trepidation, not wanting to get up in the morning, not wanting to go to bed a little earlier, some of that's to be expected. But when you see excess worry that is well outside the bounds of what you typically see in your children, that's when I get a little bit more concerned. But the first step is always to go to strategies, to do something to practice. Someone's very nervous about taking the bus or very nervous about making a friend. You do a little practice, you do a role play, you check out the bus stop. So do things to try to lessen that anxiety and worry.
And of course, many of these students might be back in the classroom for the first time in over a year if they were remote learning. So what's the advice for students with that?
This is an exciting time that we get to go back. We already know that there's going to be a mask mandate for September, so we're prepared for that. Kids have done so much better about wearing masks than we ever thought they would. This time last year, everyone was so worried about how hard it was going to be for them, but they did beautifully. So it's reminding them, everyone's wearing masks. The teachers and the school administrators are there to keep you safe. This is our opportunity to get back, to learn, to be with other kids, to have the activities that make us feel good about ourselves. So to really spend a lot of time reassuring it's going to be okay. And to remember at the end of the day, our children are resilient.
All right, Dr. Saunders, thank you so much. Always good advice. You make all of us feel better about it too, right?
I can listen to her all day long.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Of course, we'll also be speaking to experts all week, so you can send us your questions. If you have some, you can also submit them on social media or the Channel 3 app.